The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Adams, and this is our Hidden Treasure Moments podcast. And Hidden Treasure Moments podcast, it's really about giving a voice to everyday people who are doing extraordinary things. And this episode is our highly anticipated Sex After Cancer episode. You would think I wouldn't be so excited to talk about it, but for some reason, I'm jumping for joy. I cannot wait to let the cat out of the bag or something. Let something out the bag.
Something.
And so we will have guests coming in and out and talking about their experiences as well. You may remember the amazing and the beautiful Carrie Madrid, the founder and CEO of the Care Project, my good friend, my cohort, my partner in crime.
I didn't do it.
And if I did, I'm not telling anybody.
Yeah, I'm not telling anybody.
So welcome, Carrie.
Thank you for having me again.
Yay.
This is fun.
Yes. And so a couple of weeks ago, we had an episode and we were talking about the Care Project and just, everything that you're doing. And literally the last 10 minutes or so, it was me, you, and Diana.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, it just so happens we started talking about sex.
Yeah.
And just the difficulties you have, whether you're after 40, whether you've gone through menopause,
those lingering effects of breast cancer and all its lovely side effects.
Exactly. And that's probably pretty close to, a lot of the different cancer treatments.
Absolutely. I would imagine.
Yeah, I would think.
What do we know?
Yeah, exactly. We only know our one.
Yeah. That's all we need.
Exactly. Don't need any more.
Yeah.
But because of that conversation, I got a ton of comments and requests and, I would be at the office and someone would say you guys have to do more about that Sex After Cancer episode because you were talking about things that affect everyday people, affect people with cancer, without cancer.
Right.
And so that's what brought this on.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling, we'll probably do it a few times and, a few different people.
I was kind of surprised that you got
immediately.
I don't know. Because I think it's just, I hate that phrase, people of a certain age.
Yeah.
But I think it's age, it's experience, and then the cancer experience on top of that. I think it's relevant, not even just to cancer survivors. That's probably what touched a nerve.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And so because my husband, Troy, who hopefully is calling in today to talk about his piece, he was supposed to be here with us, but he had a great opportunity, so I couldn't be mad. I couldn't hate on the player.
Yeah.
So but he said that was my best show yet. And so I was like, okay, well, heck, let's try to top it.
Yeah.
So Carrie, if you just say a little bit about yourself, remind the audience of all your greatness and
all my greatness. Jeez, it's hard to be humble when you're pumping me up. So I am Carrie Madrid. I'm the co-founder and CEO of the Care Project, Inc., which is a nonprofit in Riverside. We provide financial and emotional assistance to male and female breast cancer patients who are either undergoing or recovering from treatment. I was diagnosed in 2012. So I come from a place of experience in terms of all the side effects, emotional, physical, psychological, all of that. And so creating the Care Project for me was about filling a gap in our community. So there's a lot of breast cancer entities and organizations that do wonderful work raising millions of dollars for research, or they can get you a wig and counseling and things like that. But for me, I needed more of a social club environment. I needed this, right? This camaraderie, this openness, this platform, if you will, or arena to be able to just be yourself and just talk about without judgment and without expectation kind of what you're going through. So we've created a great thing. It's completely volunteer run and donation funded, and it's hard work, and I'm tired, but it's good.
And I want to say, if I remember correct, 100% of your donations go back to...
Yeah, the only overhead we have literally is our rental space, and that's all covered. Our board each makes a financial contribution every month. So between our board members and some monthly donors and monthly sponsors, all of our overhead is covered. So anything that's donated to the CARE Project goes right back into helping patients with things like their utility bills, their co-pays, medical bills, and groceries. You know, everyday necessities that become luxuries when you're not working full time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I have family members who'd gone through chemo before I had gone through chemo. And your level of coverage from your insurance is amazing. The difference between, you know, being able to pay for groceries, being able to not have to worry about kind of the small ins and outs of going to the doctor and co-pays.
Yeah, even gas in your car. You know, if you don't have that in your budget to go to radiation every day and have to drive 20, 40 miles each way, I mean, that becomes a hardship.
Yeah.
So we kind of fill in those gaps.
Well, thank you for all that you're doing.
Absolutely. It's therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
It is. It's therapeutic for me because I think I didn't deal with a lot of my own emotional stuff. I, like you, was sort of head down, let's take it on and get through it. And then you have that, oh, wow, what did I just go through? And so for me, this has been therapeutic. So.
Well, good stuff.
Yeah.
So, jump right in. We'll get into kind of the topic at hand. And, you know, I love your meetups in the groups that you have. And I was lucky enough to be part of one.
Yeah, our first singles group. That was a good time.
Yes.
That was fun.
Yes. And what was crazy about it is, you know, it's just a group of women having a conversation. And, you know, when I was going through cancer and currently, you know, I'm married. And so, you know, we still have issues with intimacy and things like that. But with singles, like that's a whole nother.
It's a whole different ball of wax. And that's similar to your request for this show. You know, we have our Survivor Social Club. And so we meet up once a month. And sometimes it's an outing, but most of the time it's sitting around just checking on each other. And issues come up. And so someone who's single in the group sent me a private message and said, you know, we just need to talk about some of this stuff that only we are facing. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to bring you in, because I knew that this was a topic of a conversation that needs to be talked about. And so it really did bring about some good issues. So thank you for joining us. Yeah. Because we do face a different beast.
And like one of the conversation was, okay, you've beat breast cancer, you've survived this awful thing, and your body is different. Like, at what point do you tell a potential date, you know, someone that you're seeing who didn't know you before, you know, when do you tell them that you've gone through breast cancer? And when you tell them, like, how does that all play out psychologically?
Yeah. And everybody's questioning that, and they're all saying, you know, what do you think? What do we do? Like, if you're talking with someone and you're thinking about dating them, if you go out on that first date, maybe it's just a coffee date. You know, one of the things, the main thing that I think about in terms of dating is the minute you meet somebody new, what do you do nowadays that you didn't do back in the day, right? You Google them, right? Or you go on Facebook or Instagram or you're going to find that sucker somewhere, and you're going to see kind of what does their life at least appear to be like, right?
Yeah.
So if you Google me, the first thing that's going to come up is the CARE Project, and then you're going to see my story. So for me, it's really not an option to not tell somebody. I'm not going to say it's going to be the first thing out of my mouth, but if someone says, oh, well, what do you do for a living? Well, I work for a catastrophic case management company, and I run this nonprofit. Oh, well, what's your nonprofit? Well, I'm passionate about what I do, so I'm going to speak about it. So to me, it's kind of like get in where you fit in my life. Maybe that's why I'm still single. But for other survivors that were in our talk, and then those that couldn't make it, one of the things they said is we have a friend and a client that said she went out on a date, and he asked her, and she told him very honestly, you know, actually, I'm a 2-time breast cancer survivor. And the first thing out of his mouth was, so do you still have boobs? Come on,
so
man.
tacky.
Well, he flushed himself out of that. Yeah. You know, but how do you navigate that, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing if you're in a committed relationship or a marriage and that person is supportive and they've seen you go through the changes, and I would say 9 times out of 10 from what people have shared with us is there's a renewed respect and a deeper love between a spouse who sees his wife or husband go through this and emerge on the other side. Mm-hmm. But if you're not dating or you're dating and people are visual creatures, now you've got a whole other list of issues.
Yes. And I know, like, for Troy and I, like, if I don't put him in the equation and I just think about me,
right.
like, after I had my double mastectomy, my body looked so different.
Yeah.
Like, it was 30 pounds heavier.
Right.
I had slits. Oh my God.
I am here now.
Yeah. Yes, I was very round. I had literally slits that went across my breast. I had no feeling in my breast.
Right. All your nerves are cut. You don't have any sensation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, if I think about, okay, like, you know, if I was dating or even with Troy and I, you know, when things that used to be erogenous zones, like, you know, you
are
play
non-existent.
No, you play with my nipples. Okay, you know, let's go.
Right.
I could get
and now
there.
I don't have them. So now what?
Yeah. And so
or you have tattooed nipples, or you have prosthetics, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
And it's finding that for us, I had to learn my body.
Yep.
And I had to find new erogenous zones.
Right.
And figure out, like, okay, well, it feels good when my arms are touched or when the back of my legs.
Right.
Like, you really.
But don't you find it's a different level? It really requires intimacy at, like, the epitome of what intimacy is, right? Mm-hmm. And that's not just sexual, right?
Yeah. It's like when
it's
you
taking
say,
the time to really get to know somebody from the inside out, so to speak.
Yes. You have to be very, what is it? Like when, okay, I'm having a moment.
Attentive. I mean, you have to be attentive. You have to be really aware and paying attention. And because
you have to be like, it's really,
it's true. It's true. Yeah.
But it's really hard for me to say, like, okay, babe, that doesn't feel good because I can't feel it. Or like, I have to see you doing it to know that you're there.
Yeah.
To, you know, okay, well, let's try this and let's try that. Because, you know, I feel like he used to just do it. He used to just know.
Yeah.
And like,
I think a lot of it is perspective though, right? We talk about this just in dealing with everyday cancer issues, let alone the sexual aspect. It's perspective. So you could look at it like, oh my gosh, this is terrible, da 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 da. Or you could look at it like, this is new and this is fresh and this is like learning each other all over again. And I think that's the only way, if I were married or in a relationship throughout my whole extravaganza, that I would think I would approach it. I don't know. I'm not in that. But I try to always think about perspective.
Yes.
I could go all the way left with, oh, this is negative. This is horrible. This is, you know, so sad. But then look at it's fresh, new, and exciting.
Yeah.
And so you got to be patient. And
that's
your partner has to be patient.
Yes.
And I don't have any patience.
So have you done much dating since you've made it through your treatment?
Not really, because I started the care project so soon after my last treatment. Like I had no business starting the care project when I did, but I think it was my coping mechanism. And so I've done a little dating here or there. I found more or less going back to someone that was in my life in the past because it was comfortable. Yeah. And that person really loved and respected me as like their best friend and confidant. And that was great. But my mental, as we talked about with our tolerance level and everything, has really changed. And so for me, I've always sort of been a no BS kind of woman, but now it's to a different degree. So, and I don't know, there's times that I feel like, oh, I miss that companionship and it'd be really nice to have that weekend, partner to get out and get about. But at the same time, I feel like I'm sort of married to my work. And so I don't really know. I keep considering throwing my hat in the ring, and then I'm like,
maybe not.
I don't know, because it will take a really strong person to deal with all of this.
Yeah.
But is that how I present it?
Yeah.
So I'm still working through that. That's why, in part, why we started the singles thing.
Yes.
Because I, too, need help figuring that out. I don't know.
And what that next.
And I will say that the newer people that I've met since breast cancer, a lot of them say what I think are with great intentions, like, oh, that's no problem. Yeah, I totally get it. And, oh, I really respect you for all the work you're doing. And it's great that you've come out on the other side this strong. But when push comes to shove, they really just want to be. I'm like everybody's best friend, and so I'm like, I'm sort of like, maybe that part of my life is over. And if it is, I think
like when you say that part of my life,
the whole dating aspect, you know, I've been married, I've had kids, I've had great love affairs. I just feel like, I don't know. I hope it's not over, but at the same time, I'm okay if it is because I have lived a great love life.
So now, does that mean that part being over? Like, are you okay not having sex with a partner? I mean, because
I mean,
ever again?
Why do you have to say it like that? Ever again? No, I'm not okay. Mom, turn this off. Yeah. No, I'm not okay with that. But I think I live my life now with no expectations. I feel like no expectations equals no disappointments. I take each day as it comes. And I feel like whoever is meant to be in my life will land in my life. Yeah. I don't have time to be out there looking. I don't have patience to be on dating sites. Right. And after hearing some of the stories from my friends, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Whoever lands in my life next will probably be at a basketball game next to me, a chance meeting or something. I mean,
watching this podcast.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should do that. That'll be our next show. Remember the old dating game? Oh, hilarious. Yes. Hilarious.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I don't know. I think all of us that are single in my specific group, we all do desire having that companionship and that relationship again. But I think we're guarded in a sense. Yeah. And even though, like, I'm okay. Like, I'm not happy I'm 45 pounds over what I was when I was first diagnosed. But I'm happy I'm here. Yeah. I'm not going to not go somewhere, and I'm not going to not go buy that dress that's 2 sizes bigger than my usual size because I've already grieved the old Carrie. Yeah. And I've embraced the new one.
Or you just get the normal, the old size and, make it work.
Yeah. Hey, whatever. Look, I'm going to live life every single day. Yeah. And if that means sitting by my pool doing nothing for 6 hours, or if that means running from fashion show to fashion show to fashion show for my daughter or coming here or whatever that is, I'm going to live it to the fullest.
No, I think that is the way to look at it.
Someone's going to have to get in where they fit in.
Yes. And so, okay, going kind of back, like you've had sex since cancer. Yeah. What is for me the major difference between before and after is self-lubrication. Yeah. Like I am as dry as the Sahara. Yeah. Yeah. Sierra's a singer.
Yeah. Sorry, Sierra.
Didn't mean to throw you in there.
We don't know how you are, but
yes. And so it took me a really long time.
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize that chemo, like I was just turned 41 when I was diagnosed and started chemo. And chemo throws you into like a faux menopause. So with that, your period stops. And for me, my cancer was estrogen fed. So that was a good thing that the period stopped. But it does take away all your natural lubrication. And then after I got through all my treatment, I had to have a total hysterectomy because of the odds of getting ovarian cancer. And then I was on tamoxifen, which can cause uterine cancer. And I never felt a peace about taking the medication. And I'm not one I'll take the medication. But that one I was like, it kind of made me crazy. Okay. So I did opt to have the total hysterectomy, like a lot of us do. And with that ends up complete vaginal dryness. Like, what happened?
Well, with that, with the complete vaginal dryness.
No. Okay. Who's on the phone?
We have a call.
I'm afraid for this.
I know.
See what you did, Kara?
I know. Uh-oh. Hello, this is Kara.
Kara, how you doing? Good morning. I told you I would call you back again when you first came on. I don't know if it was your first show or how long you've been on, but I called about maybe a month or 2 months ago. And you're having a good topic right about now. And I have experienced some of that with one of my ladies had that operation. And so, I mean, when she first told me, it was kind of like, you was thinking. I didn't go into the negative thing with me having so many sisters. I got 11 sisters, so I just got real sincere about how I'm going to approach this. And so what I did, I had to take a step back. I took a step back, and I started looking at her as a human being. How would I want somebody to approach me if I had something pertaining to sexual activities or something we consider as part of sexual activities in this country? And so I started reading this book, Holistic Way of Living. It's about Dr. Africa. And he gets into the importance of intimacy, not the physical part
Right.
that we so much strive after in this country, in a Western society, but what do it really mean?
To be intimate.
What do the woman's breasts really mean? These are the food for life when she have a child. And I was dealing with a woman who was outside of her childbearing age. So it helped me out a lot because I got the true understanding what the breast was. And so with me having the true understanding what the breast, what it was there for, then I got away from my own selfish feeling as I had to need them for this process we was going to have when we have sexual contact. And so it slowed me down in a way to look at sex totally different. And I think this is probably some of the things that women are having, trying to look at sex the same way and feeling like they are less than. But when you go back to what it's really supposed to be about and slow your roll and bump your brakes a little bit, it ain't so bad.
No, it's not. And I will say that a lot of the people that we talk about, they're okay with themselves. They're worried about, like what we talked about the last time, is we feel better knowing that we can please you.
Right.
And make you feel good and like what you're looking at. And so, but I agree with the Western civilization, it's all sexualized.
Yeah.
It's all sexualized about the breast compared to other countries.
Yeah. And you think, really, you think about pornography and you think about, when you see things on TV and how that's like the focal point to everything. Yeah. And so when you lose that, I think it's hard for us to figure out how to replace it.
Right.
But having really kind of aware men like yourself who recognize it's a piece, it has a purpose, but it's not the whole.
Right. And I think it's important that he says that he kind of stepped back and looked at her more like a human being going through something. I think what's important is that we're not in control of this.
Right.
This isn't something we chose. This is something that's out of our control. And when people take a minute and step back and look at that, I think it does make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for calling and giving us your feedback and your input, because you're 100% right. And it helps us to have kind of a male's point of view and perspective. So we love having you on the line. So thank you so much.
Thank you for taking my call, and y'all have a beautiful day.
Thank you. You too. Hey.
Welcome, sir.
Hey, Kenneth. Turn. Go. Oh, okay. Thank you. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a really quick break. This is Kenneth Nelson,
our celebrity guest.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm like, traffic, LA.
Yes. And when we return, we will introduce you to Kenneth, and we will talk a little bit more about sex after cancer. So we'll be right back. My name is Carrie Adams. I'm the author of Hidden Treasure. I'm a speaker. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a cancer survivor. And what I want to do is invite you to my one-day VIP gym retreat. It's at the beautiful Mission Inn. The retreat will be on May 11th. It is from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. The retreat is for anyone who puts themselves last, because you're putting your family first, you're putting your career first. And what we want to do is to put you first for once. So if you are looking for a day of pampering and to just be treated like the king or queen that you are, please feel free to come and to join us. Find out how to sign up for it if you go to my website, which is www.karaadams.com, and I hope to see you there. We're back. So Thank you. So, my name is Kara, and this is the Hidden Treasure Moments podcast. And we are so excited. This was a really highly anticipated episode. And this is our Sex and Cancer, or Sex After Cancer. And today we have Kenneth Nelson here, and Kenneth just came in and he had a little problem with traffic.
LA traffic.
But yes, and we actually have another caller on the line, so we'll take the call.
Oh, awesome.
And then when we come back, Kenneth will tell his story and we'll jump back into the subject. So we can all put on our earphones. Hi, thank you for calling in. This is Kara. Who am I speaking with?
It is Terry Brooks from the world of Lawrenceville. Good morning, Kenneth. Good morning, Kara.
Hey, Terry. Can you hear her, Kenneth? Oh, it's Terry.
Terry. Terry who? Hold on. Can I see?
Here.
Oh, let me see. This is Terry who?
Yes, wait. Say hi
It's
to
not
Terry.
Terry Brooks.
Yes, it is.
This is
Yes,
Terry
it is.
Brooks. Hey, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so sorry I couldn't join you guys. I had to start today, so I'm at the school, but I just wish I could be there with the two of you.
Oh.
Yes.
So I
that's
just
good.
plug it?
Terry Brooks is another cancer survivor as well.
Yes. How's the show going?
It's going really, really good. I just got here. I was a little behind LA traffic. I'm still getting used to, but hey, definitely. So what is your question? I can't wait to hear this one.
Well,
I can hear her
it
laughing.
Was sex after
there we go.
cancer.
Sex
So
after
what
cancer,
do-
yes.
Yes. So, because you went through chemotherapy and I didn't, so my story's probably a little different from your story.
Yes. Yeah, you say what was the question? I'm sorry, Terry.
No, just kind of fill me in on what your take is on it, because like I said, I didn't go through chemotherapy, because I remember when my oncologist said, you know, you need to go through this chemotherapy, you need to do this, and that it would alter and affect your sex life. And I kind of looked at him like, oh, that's not going to happen.
Well, let's see here. It did happen. It definitely happened. And you know what? Then again, I think the first part of the chemo when you're getting it, I think for me it was more mental because I was trying to survive. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't about really anything else. And then I think maybe like that second or that third weekend, I'm like, hold on, I have not. I was like, oh shoot, okay. I'm like, oh shoot.
This is
good.
This is gonna go in a whole.
So I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, that's cool. But then you start, getting yourself together. But I'm just like, just don't feel like it right now.
Yeah.
It was more mental.
Yeah.
And then I think it's amazing how the brain works.
Yes.
Because something that's mental, it becomes physical.
Absolutely.
You can manifest that.
Absolutely.
So, but I did listen to some Luther Vandross.
That's right.
Because I grew up listening to all that type of stuff. So eventually, I did get my drive back.
Did you?
But I think it's still off a little bit too. I think it's even better than what it was.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, can we slap
Okay.
you now?
All right. So
Listen, I just feel like,
reason.
I feel like a new man now. You know what I'm saying? I have a new purpose.
Oh,
Yeah.
so let's do this so that the audience and our viewers can kind of get to know you a little bit,
Man, did I
Kenneth.
just put too much out?
No, heck no, not too much at all. So if you
Okay.
tell us a little bit about your diagnosis and kind of a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
So because breast cancer in men is
Yeah. It's only 1% of men get it. And it's then again, it might be more, but I think there's not a lot of. There is evidence and there's a lot of studies done, but I think some people can have it and just don't realize that they have it, because I know for me, it's crazy. I'm dealing with allergies and sinuses right
Me
now.
too.
Yeah.
It's like terrible. And so that was actually led me to actually finding out, which is kind of good. So I moved from New York City. I was living in New York City from North Carolina about 12 years.
Oh, what's up, New York? Jordan? New York's in the house.
I know, good old New York. Harlem is where I live. And so from there, when I first came to LA, I was having all of these sinuses and allergy problems, and it was just like bothering me. And then the smog and everything, and I'm just like, something's not right. And I had felt a bump because I like to keep everything nice and clean.
Yeah.
You know?
Manscape.
Okay, fine, manscape.
Manscape, you
All right, you know what I'm
manscape.
saying? Because you're not
Just
gonna
say it.
you're not gonna talk about me, so we're not gonna have those problems. So listen, so I was using clippers like I normally do and stuff. So I just thought it may have been like an ingrown hair or something like that right underneath. I started messing with it. It didn't bother me. I'm like, all right, it's fine.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy. I pretty much am pretty healthy. I go to the doctor pretty much on a regular. So, but I just never thought that it would be that.
Yeah.
And so when I felt it, I was like, man, it was maybe like 3 or 4 months, nothing happened. And then, so I ended up going to the doctor for my sinuses and my allergies. And I said, I do. And he asked me, he gave me medicine for that. And then he says, is there anything else going on? And I just
And that's
happened.
a great doctor.
Yes.
I
And
just
that's a great
happened.
doctor.
I was like, well, you know what?
Yeah.
I do have this little
Yeah.
bump right here.
Good for you.
And he looked, he said, well, I don't really know what it is. And it was right.
Like, did it look like a pimple or
It
did
was
it
like underneath. It was
Yeah.
like,
just
More of
like
a-
a marble?
Yeah.
More of a lump,
yeah.
not a bump.
Yeah.
Bump
Well,
is
yeah.
outside, lump
Yes.
is under.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. And he said, well, I think you're young. I think you're going to be okay. But let's just go get it checked out.
Yeah.
And how old were you?
This was last year.
Oh my Lord.
So, yeah.
Which is, how old are you now?
I'm 34 now.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. So I went to go get a biopsy. And that's when I found out, like 4 days later. And I think when I first found out, they call you in, and I was like, look, well, if there's anything, I don't want to, like, don't tell me over the phone, I'll just come or whatever. That's what I was thinking. And so I went, and I'm like, okay, it's probably just some kind of bump that I can probably get rid of or something like that, because I didn't know.
Like a
And-
cyst or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
simple. I
Yeah.
could put a hot water compress on.
Right. We're
Like,
gonna
can
get
we
rid of
smush
this
it
thing.
down? Like, something like that.
Bust out the toothpaste
I'm
like
just
you would
saying.
as
Toothpaste, alcohol, dried out.
whatever.
We can shoot whatever you need to do in the inside.
Oh
whatever.
my gosh.
No,
Oh,
but then
funny.
he's like, you have breast cancer, and I'm just like, wow, like that changes everything. And then you hear that, and I know we live in Los Angeles, but I really felt like I was in La La Land, because I'm like,
Right.
did he really just say
Yeah.
that?
Did you
And I'm
instantly go into sort of a what?
Yeah.
Kind of a fog?
I got quiet. I just it didn't make sense.
Because you were there by yourself.
I was, because I didn't think. Yes, I was
Right.
by myself. But
Right.
let me just say this too, Terry. I don't know, Terry, you still on the line?
Yes, I'm
Okay,
still
good.
here.
Okay, so I even when I first started treatment, and this is something that I wish I would have. I didn't tell anybody, because I think I was ashamed a little bit, and I was kind of going through my own psychological. I
had to
got this
process it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Man, I was going to treatment. I was driving myself to treatment. I know, terrible. I mean,
That's
but
like driving drunk.
it's not good.
Yeah.
But then I was like, this is not good, and I kept it quiet. I didn't tell anyone. But mentally, I just started changing. Physically, I started to
Yeah.
change too, and it's like I was good up until that point, but up and when they start telling you you're sick, and then you're like, okay, I'm sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So then,
But then that
thing,
chemo really takes it.
Yeah.
oh my god, I had to
physically.
be. I was in the hospital, even with radiation
Yeah.
too,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I was dehydrated for about maybe like twice, so which was not good.
Yes. Terry, I think I'm hearing some feedback from you. I'm going to let you go and say thank you so much for calling in and getting us on this subject, because I hear something weird
Yeah, there's
coming
something
in.
strange going on. I'm going to take this off.
Funny. Okay, well, you guys have a great
Terry
show,
Brooks,
and
thank
I will
you.
Talk to you guys later.
Thank you, Terry Brooks.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Bye, girl.
She's another awesome survivor, and it's so interesting. Oh, are we live? Are we off?
Oh, yeah, we could just take
No,
off
we're still on. Though.
You could just take off the
We're still
headphones.
here.
Okay, I don't know how this works.
Yeah.
So
kinda
you were
like it.
dehydrated?
Yeah, I was dehydrated, and then so I had to they had to pump like liquids in me.
Fluids.
Like,
Yeah.
I remember I was supposed to hang out with one of my friends, because my doctor told me don't try to live your life as much as you can. And I went to the doctor, and I was like going to hang out with one of my friends. I couldn't even make it to the party. I had to I was on my way to the party in Uber, and I was like, I got to go to the hospital, and they kept me. I was like, okay.
Well, kudos to you for paying attention to your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One, that you even had it checked out, because so many men are diagnosed later stage because they do think, oh, it's just an ingrown hair, or it's this or it's that. And they are diagnosed later stage
Yeah, and
with a worse outcome than women, because they just you don't know what you don't know.
you don't know.
Right.
That's why we talk so much
You don't know,
about
and I
male
think
breast
that
cancer.
especially for men, especially men
Yeah.
of color,
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
very important
Yeah.
that we can talk about everything else. We can talk about sports
Yeah.
and everything,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we need
yeah.
to start knowing it's okay to go to the doctor.
Absolutely.
and it's okay if, like, because early detection is key.
Right.
Absolutely.
And like if you find out early, you really can change that course.
Right.
And you can't be afraid.
No. And it's not shameful. And that's a man thing, and that's a cultural thing.
It is.
Yes.
very much
It is.
so.
It is. There's a lot of different cultures and different people that we encounter with the Care Project, male and female, where it's a shame thing, and their families sort of shame them and shove them in a back room and aren't involved, and it's hard to wrap my head around that. Because I just want to go in there and fix it,
Right.
You know, and love on you and support you, and
Yeah.
for some cultures and some families, it's just not that way.
And I think it goes even deeper than that, because I think it's the way we raise our young boys as well.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Because
gosh, yeah.
you know, because I was listening to something the other day. It was just by like T.D. Jakes or something, and he was talking about how, you know, how we sometimes teach our young girls at a very young age how to play with Barbies, how to all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You hold the
We're
baby,
conditioned.
You're conditioned, and then like boys don't cry, all this, and then,
Right.
and then all of a sudden you got to be a husband one day,
Right.
And you don't know
cry
how to
like
take.
a provider.
and don't cry like a girl and
You don't know,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden, I mean,
All
we don't
that.
even go to the doctor, and you know, so it's
Yeah.
like we're still playing catch up.
Right.
So a lot
Yeah.
of that, I think,
Yeah.
and that's why I always tell my son, listen, it is okay to cry, or you know, express yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
So
we
you
go to
have a son?
yeah, he's in high school.
What?
Yeah.
Like I was missing that
Yeah.
whole piece.
He's in
And
high
so
school.
he was literally going through, but he didn't know about
I didn't
it.
tell anybody.
So you didn't tell your mom,
No,
your dad.
he didn't. Well, they're deceased. But I ended up
okay.
telling my grandmother actually passed away for breast cancer. So that was something. You know, it was just a lot to deal with, and I thought I could do it on my own, and that was the worst thing. I wish I would have invited people in this process, because it's very difficult. But I think there's a beautiful side of it too. You can see what your body can do, what you're capable of doing if you do what the doctors say, and what you can do yourself. And also,
Right.
if you have people around you, you can let them support you. And I did like my third weekend, but I wish I would have had those people.
Yeah.
Like
And
my
that's
first
the
and second
hard part.
week. Yeah.
I tell Diana all the time, you know, if I had to do it over again, you know, I had a daughter in junior high and one in high school. And, you know, as the parent, you try to just keep their life as normal as possible, and you keep moving, and you don't let them know exactly how you're feeling. And if I had to do it over again, I would have been completely open and honest with them and everyone around me. Because people always gather around you and say, oh, just let me know if you need anything. And I'm like, do you know me? Because if you know me, I'm not asking.
Right.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't want to have to. Okay, I have a lot of friends.
Yeah, because at the walk, because you were just talking.
Yeah,
at the-
yeah. I'm an official spokesman for Susan G. Komen. So that was great. Just being a part of that family as well. So
And you had a really big support system.
I did, but okay, imagine this. Okay, so imagine having to say that like 200 times.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a lot to say,
Yeah.
and you relive that every time.
Yeah.
And you have those
Every
emotions, and
time.
it's like,
Yeah.
man, I didn't want that, and some people were still upset, and some people wished I would have told them, but they don't understand when you're going through that.
Yeah.
I wasn't even know what I was.
No, you go
you
to
know,
a whole different place.
Yeah, it wasn't even
Yeah.
about you. I didn't.
Yeah.
If I,
Yeah, it's not
if I
about you that I have breast cancer.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, but if I was normal, if I was
Yeah.
in the right state of mind, I probably would have. But it clouded everything.
Yeah.
No, you go into survival mode, and you got to do what you got to do for you.
Yeah, and so and then I end up telling people after the fact. I made this one big Facebook post because I was already doing the activism work afterwards because I still didn't tell anyone. And I was I eventually was like, well, if I'm doing this event, I work with this guy named DJ B Hen. We put on this annual event called Beat to Beat Breast Cancer. So it was like he honors his mom. So I was doing that event with him.
Okay.
And I didn't tell anybody. I was like, you know what? I probably should tell people.
Imagine how
You know?
effective
Yes.
that
it
is.
is.
So, you know,
So-
we're already going to talk offline about the Care Project.
Yeah. So
We have our whole male campaign coming up. So,
But
yeah.
it's you know, I mean, you can't be afraid. I mean, you can't be afraid, and I think that if we are not afraid to, you know, to tell people that the support system is there sometimes.
Yeah.
And we just
Yeah.
can't be afraid.
Yeah.
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 And like one of the things we talk about a lot is like when I look at myself in the mirror, I don't look the same. You know, it's that.
Oh, okay.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
I know what you mean.
You know, we've both had double mastectomies,
Really?
bilateral.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And so it's like that. Nothing about how I looked before is the same. I'm appreciating my body now, but like, how does that different from a
Wow.
male's perspective?
Okay. So it's so funny. I still don't like. I still don't like to look at my. Well, I'm still going through it. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
fresh.
I'm still.
You're
Yeah,
fresh
yeah.
in the
So
game.
this is the thing.
Yeah.
I usually didn't take my shirt off because I have this major scar underneath, and so I was like, you know what? The other day, I went swimming for the first time.
Good.
Yeah, and so
Good.
and now I'm just walking around the house naked and stuff.
Good.
You
know
have
what I'm
to.
saying?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at everything. I'm like, I'm good.
It took me, I told Kara this, maybe last time, but it took me like a good year before I really just, I'm always rushing around, right? So it's like a quick shower, quick do this. And I never really stopped to look in the mirror. But then again, I can't remember doing that before either because I had kids, right? I don't know. But there was some point where I stopped and I just looked in the mirror and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. Like, I don't have just when you Google mastectomy scars, you see this little slit. And I hear people complain about that. And I'm like, I wish I looked like that. Because I had 2 tumors and one was so huge, they actually had to scoop me out.
Okay.
So I was like this before my reconstruction. And then with the reconstruction I had, I don't have implants. I don't have cute little things. It's like... It's a whole different than what you see online, which is why I think I'm so open about it, is because I think people need to know. Because we have this expectation of this is how we're going to look when we have, and that may not be what you look like.
Wow. Okay. So since we putting it all out there, I might as well put it all out there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do it.
So I went to go see a plastic surgeon last week.
Good. Good.
I do. I mean, I'm all for whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just this is what I just found out that I didn't know. So we were talking about that I have a little indentation now, so I wanted to be out, and he was
do pectoral implants, right?
Check this out. This is what I didn't know either. So they could take fat from other places and inject it, but check this out. You had to get cleared from your radiologist because that fat can actually come up look like cancer as well. Yeah. So I didn't know that. So I'm just like, wow, it's so many different avenues, to this.
That's the more you know, right?
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna do something.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna do something. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
And did they take your nipple?
No.
So
Thank
you
God.
have your
I
nipple.
have my
Okay.
nipple. Yes, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
But I have a scar.
Sensation?
Oh yes, they're they're sensitive now.
Really?
Yeah, I'll be walking around.
He's like, oh.
I can catch myself sometimes. Come here, Phil. See that heart right there?
I'm mad about that.
Oh my God, yes.
I think we have another call.
Oh my God. Wait a minute. I keep forgetting these cameras are right here. Oh my God.
We're live.
Jesus. I'm sorry.
Imagine what we talk about if we weren't
We're
live.
gonna have to do this
Oh,
again.
Lord.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for calling. This is Hidden Treasure Moments. Who am I speaking with?
This is your loving husband.
Oh, shoot.
Uh-oh.
Sir, listen.
We're in trouble.
Sir, I apologize. Listen.
You see, baby?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Hey,
and
baby.
I just want to congratulate you on being now an award-winning author.
That's right.
Oh, thank
Such
you.
a great honor
baby.
yesterday.
Congratulations.
I know
That's
you ladies are
amazing.
talking about sex after cancer.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I was not able to make it. I was doing a photo shoot and for a magazine here locally and was not able to get to the studio. So my apologies to yourself. But congratulations again. Just wanted to call in on that.
Thank you, baby. Are you watching it?
So I literally told the interviewer here that I had to stop the interview and call in. So I haven't watched it.
Okay.
But you know me, I would definitely tune back in. I'm sure that the conversations have been pretty interesting, as you and Carrie are very interesting people.
Yes, and you have no idea because we have
You don't know what just happened, sir. Sir, can you hear me? Sir?
Can
Yes,
you?
sir.
I'm beside your wife right now. How are you?
I'm good.
So it's
Nelson is hilarious.
they have a guy on the show today as well.
Or Kenneth, I keep calling you Nelson.
Oh, Kenneth.
Yeah, Kenneth Nelson. It's the
yes,
same-
Kenneth.
It's the same thing. It's all the same.
Kenneth, you've been holding it up for us, right?
I'm holding it down over here. I'm in between. I got this.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now, all I want to know, and again, I'm sure you guys have gone over it, but we do know, that sex after cancer, I know, personally, that it can be very interesting. It can also be, I've heard Carrie and them talk about the dryness and the whole 9 yards, but it is, it is a challenge.
Yeah, I hear that for the women. It is, and for guys as well. Yeah, and it's just like we were talking about that earlier. That the drive can go up and down, and so especially I'm sure it's different for women. Mm-hmm. But for me, and I talk to other guys too. I mean, I think it's a case by case. Yeah.
Because, like, for Kenneth, for you, you don't, like, for us, we have menopausal symptoms.
But I feel like I have whatever. That's when you get hot and cold.
Like hot flashes?
That's another thing. I've been going, since I've had treatment, I go hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. My friends don't know what to do.
Yeah.
If to bring a coat or like or not.
When you need to.
I have a fan. I wear black because I'm sweating. I'm like, man, baby powder. I'm sorry. Yes. Baby wipes.
Oh my God.
Oil. Okay, anyway.
We keep a hidden treasure fan for her.
Where is it at? Sir, is it anywhere around? Because I need it right now.
Yeah,
Where is it at?
I think it's in the car. I'll get you one.
Okay,
I'll
please.
get you a fan. I'll get you one. But thank you, baby. Thank you for calling and for supporting. And, you know, you're the wind beneath my wings, on top of them, underneath them, around them. Just thank you.
I can't wait till he sees this playback.
Yeah.
I can't wait for him to see this whole thing.
And I would tell for all the men that are listening, you know, whether you're having sex once a month or once a quarter, you know, the bottom line is lube up. There's all kind of other toys and things that are out there that hopefully can help your relationship. But at the end of the day, it's all worth it. You know,
yes, that's important.
Yeah.
We got married and that took that to us. Yeah, took that to us part.
Hey.
So we still living. So let's just keep the passion in the relationship and figure it out.
I like that.
All right, baby. Thank you.
All right.
I got some kisses for you.
Definitely.
All right.
I'm going to throw up.
Bye.
Are you married?
No.
We need to buy one of him for you. Can we
Why do we
just
gotta
make
buy him, though?
I mean, isn't everything for sale? I don't know.
Oh, that's a whole other show.
Okay, my bad.
We just talked about doing the old-fashioned dating game, which you're probably not even old enough to remember.
What's that?
It was a game show, and there would be like a bachelorette or a bachelor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you probably seen reruns.
No, I remember going.
Whatever.
Yeah. It's almost. Yeah, I remember that. It's almost like the new Bachelorette.
Yeah,
Like, back in the day, it was like they had to go to interviews.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
they
like
just
the
sat in a
dating
chair
game.
like this.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
couldn't see the.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get like Troy and Jelani and a couple of other male friends to
Yes.
like interview
Put
people.
something together.
Put
Oh my
something
God.
together. That would be hilarious.
It would be so funny.
That might be a new
That'd
show.
be good.
So we're gonna take a quick break.
But I don't want to take a break.
I know we gotta
I
take
just got
a
here.
quick. Well, it's only like 2 minutes.
Okay, cool.
And then, yes. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be talking to Kenneth and to Carrie a little bit more about sex after cancer and just all the rabbit holes we go down.
Right.
So we will be right back.
I love it.
The Monday morning men's group gets together because we're just some brothers hanging out having coffee. And we need a safe space where we can talk and be ourselves.
Hidden Treasure was written for women, but the added bonus for all you men out there is you finally get to know what we are thinking. If you want to live a life you love, if you want your relationships to be stronger, then purchase your copy today. Hello, my name is Carrie Adams. I'm the author of Hidden Treasure. I'm a speaker, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a cancer survivor, and what I want to do is invite you to my one-day VIP gym retreat. It's at the beautiful Mission Inn. The retreat will be on May 11th. It is from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. The retreat is for anyone who puts themselves last because you're putting your family first, you're putting your career first, and what we want to do is to put you first for once. So if you are looking for a day of pampering and to just be treated like the king or queen that you are, please feel free to come and to join us. Find out how to sign up for it if you go to my website, which is www.karaadams.com, and I hope to see you there.
Hello, welcome back. This is our Hidden Treasure Moments podcast, and we are having so much fun in studio. Here with me today is Carrie Madrid from the Care Project, and I also have Kenneth Nelson, who is a recent cancer survivor, breast cancer survivor, and we are just having a good time.
You know what I like to say? I don't even like to say survivor anymore. I like thriver. Breast cancer thriver.
Yes.
I say both. You know why I say both?
Well, tell me
because
why.
there's certain days that I feel like I am just surviving
that-
the side effects, and then there's other days that I feel like my life is thriving,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
and
yeah.
so I'm okay with either.
Yeah.
I don't know. I I love that word so much, and I started a foundation called the Knights Thriving Foundation. I'm just
I love that.
helping men and also deal with health issues and all of that, and mental health, and
That's
also
fantastic.
breast cancer. So this is good. This is fun. Yeah.
And I think like all of us, which is crazy, we've all been through something traumatic and life altering, but we've done amazing things with our experience
Because of it.
Because of it.
That's true. That's true. But you know what's so interesting? I ended up losing maybe like 35, 40 pounds. People were like, they didn't know what was wrong with me because I never said anything. Thank God my weight has come back more than what I thought was going to come back.
Welcome to the
I'm gonna
club.
slap him because I gained 45 pounds and it won't go anywhere.
So listen,
So
but
whatever.
People, I mean, you're not all, because I kept myself trying to look as best as I could, and people didn't know. And I think, I mean, thank God, but you never know what someone is going through just based upon what they look like.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You said we had a call. Do we have a call?
We need Peggy Miller from the Male Breast Cancer Coalition to call in.
Oh, please.
Peggy, call us. This is the number here, yeah?
Yes.
What's the number?
323-293-3375.
Yeah.
Peggy, give us a call.
Yes. Because we know you're calling her cell phone.
Yeah. I know you're calling my cell, but I don't have it. So
You don't have your cell phone?
Diana has it.
Oh my goodness.
But, you know, I think a lot about my life before cancer.
Okay.
And I hate saying to people like cancer, like going through that experience, like my life is better. Like I'm a better person. My life is more enriched. I'm doing more.
Yeah.
I feel like I have more abundance. I feel like I have a second chance, at life, but it's something that I had to create. But I felt like I had to go through that in order for me to have movement in my life.
Yep.
And I can't be attached to anything. And it's like now I have movement.
Yes.
And when I say
That's
well
said.
It's in a way that I can't even describe.
No, yeah, but we get it.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like this. It's almost like
gives me the chills.
I know.
it's almost, and I realized this maybe a few months ago. Imagine being somewhere that you've always seen. You're on the concrete. You're like in a building, right? And you only can see another building in front of you, right? But imagine if you go higher, you see a whole nother elevation from that same area, from that same spot where you're just being elevated. And so now I feel like it's a different perspective.
Even if you had, I always say, like, even if you had your priorities straight before and you had an overall good perspective on life, it's amplified.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's amplified. And like I
Yeah,
tell
that's
her,
what it is.
it is. And like I told her, it's like, have you seen those Facebook videos where someone who's colorblind gets the glasses and they can see? I feel like that's sort of what happened in my life.
Oh, yeah.
That makes
Right?
sense. That makes sense.
And I always tell her it's interesting that we're called survivors now, and I wear that with pride that I made it through. Like, oh, thank God, modern medicine, my belief in God, whatever, right, got me through. But I'm truly living today, you know, whereas before I was just surviving day to day. And so it's that different perspective. It's amplified.
And I say all the time when I'm on stage, if I'm here doing the podcast, like, you know, you said it to me and it clicked and I attached to it and I took it as my own. That before I was surviving, like my life was, it was a whole bunch
of grind.
And it was a whole bunch of events. I was jumping from thing to thing to thing, and I wasn't in the moment. You know, I wasn't relishing in what I was doing at any moment. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to live a life I love. And if you don't like it,
unapologetically.
That's what it is.
We talked on our last show about like the less tolerance. Do you find that?
Oh yeah, my relationships are definitely changed.
Right.
But I'm glad because I've had to grow and really see life from a whole nother perspective. And so sometimes I don't deal with the drama like not that I dealt with drama before, but I'm like, before I would just cut people off, but now I don't. I cut them off, but I do it like this. I'm like, you can stand out, like I can love you from a distance, but I don't need any extra.
Bless and release.
Right. Bless and release.
Bless and release.
I don't have to stop talking to you. I can I know listen. I'll see you when I see you. There's no love lost. Like I just don't want any negative vibration around
nothing.
me. Yeah.
Nothing.
No, and I don't need like any negativity. I'm like I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't even have to say it. I just know that I'm good.
Yes. Well, we got a call, y'all.
Uh-oh. Is it Peggy?
Yes, it is.
Oh, hi, Peggy.
Hi.
What are you doing?
Hey, girl. Hey.
Just chilling.
I'm booking my flights for the fest when I get home from this.
Oh,
I'm going in
awesome.
April.
Good deal.
What? Okay.
It's
what?
the Male Breast Cancer
Yeah.
Coalition Fest.
Oh, that's right. When is it?
April 25th, right, Peggy? The weekend of the 25th.
April 26th to the 28th.
Yeah.
This is Peggy from the Male
Breast
Cancer
Cancer
Coalition.
Mm-hmm.
Peggy, how are you?
Doing very good.
So I have an interesting story for you.
Okay.
We've actually had a conversation before.
Where?
On the phone. So
Okay.
I was when I was going through my treatment and just finalizing everything, I was trying to find other male survivors as well. So I just Googled and I found the group on Facebook, and so I had the number in my phone for like a good month
Before you called?
Before I called, because I was like, I wasn't ready to call.
Yeah.
So I called her, and you know, she had sent Peggy. I called you, and we had a wonderful conversation, and it was just amazing. You were gonna put me in contact with some people in LA, but I wasn't quite ready. I was still going through it.
I do remember that.
Yeah, and then so now I'm doing the work, but I realize that it's a process.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to have you on here right now.
Yeah.
Peggy is
It
like
is a
everybody's
process,
mom.
but you're part of our family. We never let you go.
That's
I
right.
love that, and I love what Good Morning America did for you guys as well. It was a really fantastic clips and what they were showing what you guys are doing. So I'm grateful to be a part of this family as well.
Yeah.
Well, we want you to, and we're here for you when you need us, regardless.
And
It
look,
doesn't
Peggy,
matter.
he's only an hour from me.
That's right. So he can't go anywhere.
Right.
No, I'm here. I'm doing the work.
Right.
I'm doing the work.
Right.
It's
So we'll be
important.
sure and
That's
incorporate him within the care project, and we'll get him
Oh,
going
absolutely.
too. Absolutely.
And Vincent, get your story when you're ready to share it.
Oh, I'm
on
ready
the
now.
website.
I'm gonna call you later.
Yeah, he gonna call you
I'm gonna
tonight.
call you later. I'm gonna fill out that paperwork that you sent to me that I didn't fill out because she sent the packet.
Still got it.
I still got it.
Excellent.
I got that packet. I'm gonna send it to
Did she answer
you.
the minute you called?
Yes, she did.
Yeah,
I wasn't
'cause
expecting.
Do you know if you email her, she will respond within
I wasn't-
5 minutes.
I wasn't expecting.
24/7, Peggy will respond.
I wasn't
in 5
expecting
minutes.
for her to
That's right.
we had a wonderful conversation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Peggy's the best.
Now, Peggy, we have a few minutes before we start to wrap up, but I really want you to say a little bit about your foundation and your coalition and what you're doing, so that if there are other men out there, if there are families and they know that their husbands, their sons, that they're going through breast cancer, you know, how do they get in touch with you? How do they get some type of service in community?
Okay. Well, we're here 24/7, as Carrie has said. If there's a man out there that think he is alone, I got to tell you, he is not alone.
That's right.
He is part of our family, and we take on globally men from all over the world.
Absolutely.
That, you know, Brett's promised to his surgeon the day before his mastectomy. His surgeon looked at him and he said, "Brett, you're my 13th man I'm going to do a mastectomy on. But you're the youngest I've ever done it on."
Yeah.
And he says, "Brett, I need someone to put a face to male breast cancer." And he just Brett looked at me and says, "Doc, you get me well, and I'll be screaming it from the rooftop for the rest of my life."
And he's been doing that.
I love that. I know it's.
And we're doing it, and that's when he hired me for the big bucks, you know, zero, and he says,
I
"You
love
are
it.
my administrative assistant, and you're going to have to back me up." And I said, "If God gets you well, you've got my promise
That's right.
that I will never give up on this, and I won't. You guys are all my sons, and we're going to continue to change the world
Yes.
that men have breasts too.
Yeah.
It's what we have to do."
You know, it's interesting you say that because I know that what Susan G. Komen, they have Vanessa Bella Calloway does this event called Know Your Girls. I always tell the guys, you got to know your boys.
Yeah.
That's right.
You got to know your boys.
Yeah.
You got to feel them. You got
Yeah.
you know, and not only that, you know, even for women that are listening right now, if you got a man telling you that you should get checked out, you should definitely
Absolutely.
get checked
Yeah.
out, please, because early detection is key.
And then take him with you and tell him to get checked out too.
Oh, there you
Men
go.
and
That's
women,
right.
yes, absolutely.
That's
And,
right.
not only that,
And-
follow up. If that's another thing too. If you going through this, go to your follow up appointments and your treatments, and like it's a 5-year mark, 10-year mark. Go to those appointments because some people think they're out and they
Yep.
end up. No, you got to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to.
It's a
You have to
lifelong
be
management.
diligent in your own best advocate.
Yes.
We do have breastselfexams.org for the proper way for men and
Yep.
women to do breast self-exams. So
Yes.
please.
Yeah. I'll share
Check them
those
out.
again. I'll share those again on the Care Projects page.
Perfect.
Please do.
Well, thank
And
you.
I'll see you soon, Peggy.
Yes. Thank you so much,
thank-
Peggy. I'm hoping I'll get to meet you because I'm the only one that hasn't
I'm gonna
met
try to
you.
get
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to come out there. I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
It's in Florida,
Yes,
Orlando?
the
Orlando.
conference is going to be amazing. We have speakers from all over that are specializing in male breast cancer. So
Oh,
we
this is
need
great.
everybody to come. It'll be wonderful.
Thank you, Peggy.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you all for having me on. I can't thank you
Absolutely.
enough.
Have a good
Love
day.
See you later, Peggy.
All
See
right.
you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
She's great.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So somehow the hour has flown by.
Man.
And it is already time. So obviously this was just part one. We're going to have to do it again. I'm going to have to beg and plead to both of these amazing people to come out so that we can further the conversation, further the awareness.
Can I bring some champagne?
Yeah, please.
Okay, cool. And,
Please,
and
this is-
strawberries?
We're all adults here.
And chocolate.
Yes.
I'm just
cool.
going to take
And
the
a
whole
little cream.
day off.
A little whipped cream.
I'll bring it all. It's going to be all my treasure chest.
Oh,
Yes.
Speaking of treasure.
speaking of treasures.
So I do want to thank, yesterday I received the Author of Influence Award, and I am so just amazed and proud for my book, Hidden Treasure, from it's the Connected Women's Institute down in San Diego. And I'm so blessed. Please, if you are at any point in your life where you need a little cheerleader, you need to hear a story that will uplift and motivate you, please go to my website. It's karaadams.com, and you will find my book, Hidden Treasure. You'll also find it on Amazon. And so please support the cause. And then I also want Kenneth to say a little bit in closing about himself as well as Carrie. And then hopefully they will be back.
Yes, definitely. Well, again, you can find me on Facebook, Kenneth Todd Nelson, Instagram as well. I have a page you can reach out. I just want to encourage people just to definitely, if you see something or if you feel something, get checked out. You can't be afraid because early detection is key. You can thrive through this, and I'm just happy to be here. Thank you for letting me be part of this family now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. It's this bond, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I realized that when I was at the last week at Susan G. Komen The Walk, I was like, it's so many. It was overwhelming. I didn't realize. It's like, it's a lot. I love that.
We're a gang. Blood in, blood out.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm ready. Let's go. Where we going?
Yeah. Well, I this is not my show, but I feel like I own part of this. I'm invested in this. And I just want to thank you for being here because running the CARE Project from the very beginning, when I was diagnosed, I have 3 brothers. I don't have any sisters. And so the first thing I did was what they tell you not to do, which is Google, your survival system. You did it, right? See, yeah, you did it too. I don't feel so bad. But I did. I just got to wondering, could my brothers be affected? Because I was waiting for my genetic testing to come back and all that.
That's important.
It is important.
Tell them about that test.
It is. Well, I don't even know what it's called.
The BRCA test.
Yeah, the BRCA test. But for me, I Googled that and I got to wondering, do men get breast cancer? And I stumbled onto the Male Breast Cancer Coalition. Yeah. And I made it my mission statement to support male and female breast cancer patients. Yeah. And some people question, well, why do you have to put that in there? Shouldn't it just say breast cancer? And I said, no, because people default to it being women. And I just think that it's so important that, you had to go through your process and you had to do whatever you had to do before you let your folks know around you. But now that you have, the impact that you can make just sharing your story is huge. Yeah. So you are part of that Male Breast Cancer Coalition, and that means you're part of the CARE Project because we are partners with the Male Breast Cancer Coalition. I look forward to working with you within the Southern California region. Okay. So you can serve as a great mentor for others.
I can hop on the plane.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, we want to thank you. I want to thank my guests. You guys have been amazing.
Thank you so much.
This was fun.
This was really fun. I have to thank Felicia Morris and Morris Media Studios for making my dream that I didn't even know come true. I want someone to come here real quick. Come here, Jordan. Jordan is my social media extraordinaire. He's not quite camera ready. Yeah. But come on. Wait, you got to come over here.
He's all natural camera ready.
Wait, now bend down.
There you go.
Jordan.
And he's out.
Yes. who I love and adore, my husband, who is my rock and my best friend, my son, Truly Adams. I need to thank our sponsors, which is Creative Solutions Marketing and Printing, and also Deluxe, because, Deluxe Boutique for my fits, because, they keep me fly, and just all of you for watching and for commenting and for being a part of this Hidden Treasure movement. Yes. So thank you, and we will see you again next week. Bye.